Think about the last time you swallowed a bitter truth to keep the peace, or the time you filled a quiet room with rapid-fire jokes. Did you choose those words, or did a hidden fear choose them for you? In their book, The Root Within, researchers Gregory Hayes and Kenneth Johnson propose a demanding idea. What we consider our communication style is often simply insecurity wearing a voice. We readily categorize ourselves and others. We call someone the funny one or the quiet one. We treat these labels as authentic personality traits. The reality is that they are carefully constructed camouflage designed to protect a fragile sense of self. To understand how we actually connect, or fail to connect, we have to peel back the layers of volume, tone, and silence. Beneath all of them, we find a shared wound. This flowchart maps the trajectory of destruction. It begins with a core insecurity, the belief you are not enough, manifesting as fear of rejection. This mutates into insecure communication styles like silence or aggression. These defensive tactics create misunderstandings, solidifying into long-term isolation and broken trust. Any communication devoid of raw honesty is not true connection. It is a desperate, lifelong negotiation with the fear of inadequacy. The quiet disguises are the most deceptive. We often interpret the avoidance of a conversation as a sign of a calm mind. In truth, it is the sign of a terrified one. This frequency chart reveals how common this is. Silence is, by a wide margin, the most frequent mask chosen to hide insecurity. The mechanism is insidious. A person swallows their needs and their anger, convincing themselves they are keeping the peace. That silence breeds suffocation. Every unspoken word festers into resentment, rotting the relationship from the inside. We see this clearly after a conflict. The insecure person retreats, refusing to answer texts or engage in dialogue. Hiding feels safer than the risk of being truly known or rejected. People who rely on these quiet strategies reject themselves preemptively. They build their own prison before anyone else can put them in one. On the opposite end of the spectrum are the loud disguises, aggressive and dominant communication styles. Looking back at the data, the second most frequent response is overcompensation, followed closely by direct aggression. Volume is just as common a defense as silence. For some, the dread of being irrelevant is unbearable. They flood the room with noise. They overtalk, interrupt, and dominate the conversation to hide their own fragility. Others use passive aggression, the delayed reply, the sarcastic compliment, the forgotten chore. These are weapons used by those too terrified to express their rage directly. It is sabotage disguised as kindness. Explosive aggression, whether shouted in a boardroom or across a living room, is never true authority. It is simply panic dressed in volume and intimidation. The final category is the deflective mask. These individuals rely on constant misdirection to avoid any real intimacy. Consider the funny one. They turn their pain into a punchline. By laughing at their flaws first, they ensure nobody looks close enough to see the actual wound. Validation seeking functions exactly the same way. It is a bottomless plea for reassurance. Asking, "Are you mad at me?" or "Am I enough?" over and over devours a partner's energy, because the insecure person never actually believes the answers they receive. This impact model shows the exact mechanics of these deflective styles. By filtering every interaction through a performance, insecure communication actively masks the truth, blocking any chance of genuine connection. Deflection ensures the insecure person remains a ghost, unseen and unknown, even when they are standing right in front of you. These masks do not strictly protect the individual. They systematically infect and destroy the systems around them. This bar graph comparing secure and insecure relationships provides the hard evidence. Insecure relationships show a massive deficit in basic trust and communication, proving how deeply these styles damage relational foundations. The domestic irony is brutal. The silence one partner uses to avoid a fight is interpreted by the other partner as total abandonment. The defense mechanism causes the exact injury it was meant to prevent. We see the same tragic irony in leadership. A manager uses aggressive control, believing it maintains authority. In practice, that intimidation stifles innovation and guarantees resentment from the team. The very masks we wear to prevent isolation are the exact tools that construct it. To break this cycle, the performance must end. The masks must be dropped. This requires a terrifying shift in perspective. Communication can no longer be about sounding right or staying safe. The glass cracks under the weight of exposure, demanding that you finally speak raw, unpolished truth. The most critical conversation you have been avoiding isn't with your partner or your boss. It is with the wound that keeps choosing your words for you. Hit the subscribe button to join us for the next chapter in this journey of unmasking. True freedom begins the moment you take back your voice from the puppeteer of fear.